god, this cup, if you know, you know. If you don't get started because there's already enough competition as is. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you don't know me yet, my name is Michaela and I'm so happy that you're here. Please make sure you go ahead and subscribe so you're notified of all my future videos. Today's going to be a fun one because I just got this in the mail. I picked it up during the Sephora sale and this completes my Pat McGrath eyeshadow collection. So I thought it was the perfect time to sit down and film everything that I have so I can share that to you. I love watching eyeshadow palette collection videos. It's like a guilty pleasure of mine, but they get kind of long and I figured this might be fun to do it by brand, you know, so that you can see everything but still, you know, not be sitting there for too long because I tend to ramble on. So let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, so if you don't know about Pat McGrath, she's a celebrated makeup artist and she has created her own makeup collection. Now, I am in love with her shadows, but I am an eyeshadow junkie, so that's not very surprising. Her formula is just top notch, and the artwork that she puts into these palettes is spectacular. So the Mothership palettes come in this beautiful box, and it's kind of like an envelope. You have to untie it this way, and then the palette is inside, and it comes with just shade names just on the bottom there. I don't keep my palettes in the boxes because it becomes a little bit laborious to get it in and out of that packaging. So I went ahead and framed them because they really are such beautiful pieces of art and I still wanted to enjoy them, but I wanted to go ahead and make sure that my palettes were easily accessible so that I can actually use them. I've seen some really cool DIY that some people will cut actual boxes and then tape them onto the palette so they can see which one is which pretty quickly, but that was a little too adventurous for my taste, so I did not do that. If you don't know what the PMG palette packaging looks like, it is this luxurious weighted palette, and there's gold in the back. I mean, it feels really nice, and I mean, for the price point that you're paying for this, it better feel nice. Hermes, take notes. So I thought I'd go ahead and start with the Motherships first, and those are the bigger palettes. So the very first one she came out with is Subliminal, and it is just this gorgeous cool tone palette. I mean, that blue, that is the stunner, right? And the packaging for this one is this right here. It's this beautiful white one. And so the second palette is the one that I actually just picked up, and it is called Sublime. You saw that green in the outer packaging and it delivers on the inside. Look at that green. It's the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes today. There's just so many beautiful shades in this palette and you could easily have this as an everyday palette. I think it is absolutely stunning and I cannot wait to use more of her. The third palette in the collection is Subversive, and these are such fun shades. Now, the purple up here is what initially drew me to this palette. So the fourth palette is the one that comes in this crown packaging right here. And it's a bit of a controversial one because it was supposed to be a limited edition, but it's come back several times now. And of course, originally it came in the traditional black outer packaging, and then it came out with the Star Wars collection, which was basically a gold packaging with Star Wars on it, and then it got re-released, and which is the one that I have. It came out again with a gold, which is similar to the Star Wars packaging, but there is no Star Wars on there, and on the inside, you just have all metallic shades. So unlike her previous palettes that had a range of formula, this one is strictly metallic. Okay, and this next one is very special because this is what started it all for me. This is the one that just got me hooked on Pat McGrath, and I still recommend this palette the most. Like, if people ask me what is the one palette that if you could only pick one for Pat McGrath, what would it be? This is the one. This is Mothership number 5 Bronze Seduction. I don't know if you can tell, but this baby has been used and abused. Oh my gosh, I mean, how could you not? This is just gorgeous. I love purples. This is just so stunning. David Rosano, who's one of the beauty directors for Sephora, he recently did a look on his Instagram and it features one of the shades in this palette, and I knew exactly what it was when I first saw it because I use this shade pretty often. It is definitely a transformative shade because you can put it over any shadow and it just enhances it in a way that it could never have been enhanced before. I'm in love with this shade. It is just seriously so beautiful, and there's just no way I can show you what it looks like, and it's just so frustrating. If you have the chance to see it in person, it's gonna sell you on this palette. Like that shade by itself, I swear. I love that palette. I cannot say enough good things about that palette. It is seriously top notch. And that one is this packaging right here, front and center, because that's where it deserves to be. Okay, so the next Mothership palette that I have is Mothership number 6. This one, you know, it took me a while to warm up to this one, and I don't know why, because they are such beautiful shades, and this lavender right there is absolutely beautiful, and I love green, so I don't know why it took me so long to pick this one up, but it is really nice. I kept reaching for Bronze Seduction over and over and over again, and it took me a while to break into any of the other palettes because it's just such a show-stopping palette. But I promise I love all my Pat McGrath palettes. It's just Bronze Seduction is amazing. Okay, next up, one of my other favorite Pat McGrath palette. This one is Divine Rose. It is so beautiful. If you love pinky looks, this one's for you. This one is absolutely beautiful, perfect for everyday bridal looks too. I could see doing really well with this. And there's just such beautiful shades in here. I actually dip into this one a lot more than I thought I would. You can definitely do some cool tone looks with this too, which is why I probably didn't use the first one as much, because I was digging into this one instead for cool tone looks, because it still had that purple in there. And I think that for brown eyes especially, purple is just such a nice color to have. And the Divine Rose collection, as you could probably imagine, was such a hit that they expanded the collection. And when they did that, they came out with limited edition packaging. They put Divine Rose in this pale pink packaging, and then Divine Rose 2, which is this one, is like a metallic, beautiful pink. And funny story on this one, I was just debating and debating and debating, like, what do I do? Should I just get the regular black packaging, or should I go for the limited edition one, you know, for my collection? Because I already have Decadence, which is the one in the gold, and everything else was just that beautiful traditional black. So I was like, I don't want it to clash too much. You know, the gold is fine because there is black and gold in the regular packaging, but this one, like a pink, I don't know. Anyway, I thought about it too much. I didn't pick it up, but one of my best friends actually picked up 2. So she offered one of hers to me, which was really, really nice. So thank you, Tamara. I love this palette. I mean, Pat McGrath formulas are amazing, but this one, the formula is just even better than all the other ones. I don't know what it is. I mean, she just upped her game, if that's even possible. Like, I am telling you, the shadows in this palette are insane. And so that rounds out my Mothership palette collection. There's 8 of them right now, and I'm really anxious to see if she comes out with any more. I think that there's a pretty good range of color in all of them, so I'd be curious to see what she comes out with next. There is a very repetitive theme of the golds in every palette, and I wish that was something that she would break away from. It'd be nice to have one palette without that standard gold. And so in the bigger Mothership palettes towards the end, they have a section of like the special shades. And I don't know if that's a technical term for it, but that's just what I hear Mel say all the time, so that's what I refer to them as. But there's a section at the end of the palette which has the 4 special shades, which contains the Astrals. And the Astrals is that one shade I was mentioning in the Bronze Seduction palette that's just like so beautiful. So for holiday, she came out with these beautiful quads, and these are only the special formulas in there. So that was really nice, because if you kind of wanted to dip your toes into Pat McGrath and not invest in a big Mothership palette, you could do that by just picking up one of these quads. And so that was one of them. This was a really fun one, and I totally bought this one because of Mel. She did the most gorgeous look with it, and I was like, yep, need that. And then this is the last one that I have of those quads. So beautiful. And these shades can really transform other shades as well. Okay, so we're moving on from the beautiful weighted packaging, and we're going into some of her cardboard palettes. So originally she came out with these smaller palettes that resemble the full-size Motherships, and they were kind of like a counterpart to those, just a continuation of the story, I would say. This is the one that complemented Subliminal. And let me go ahead and open that one so that we can see them side by side. This is the Subliminal Mothership, and then this one is just the Subliminal 6-pan. As you can see, they're very cohesive. They definitely go together. But this is just a great neutral palette by itself. So another 6-pan palette that I have is the one that is a continuation to Subversive. And this one has beautiful purples in it. If you are a purple lover, this palette is so pretty. And let me go ahead and open up Subversive Mothership so that you can see them side by side. So this is the Subversive 6-pan, and then this is the Subversive Mothership. So again, just a beautiful continuation of that color story. And so next we have another kind of Divine Rose counterpart. And it's also a 6-pan palette, but this one came in a different style packaging. So instead of the previous 6-pans that came in the same kind of portfolio style, this one is just a simple regular palette closure. I don't mind that it's just a simple closure per se, but I do feel like these were a little bit more weighted, a little bit more luxurious feeling. It has kind of that matte touch to it, as opposed to this one, which just kind of feels lackluster in packaging. It's very lightweight. It just feels kind of cheap, to be honest, for the brand. I wasn't very happy with it. I mean, okay, yes, they're beautiful. I think the packaging is just throwing me off on this one. I just wasn't impressed by it. It's not the standard that I've come to know and expect from Pat McGrath, so really, really disappointed with the packaging on this one, which leads me to the next one, and this was also equally disappointing. I was kind of hoping for a while that she would do a palette like this, and this one has smaller pan sizes, but there's just a bigger range in there. And I love the concept and everything, but the execution, again, is the problem that I have with this palette, because the shadows are beautiful. Her formula is always beautiful, but the packaging, I mean, my sticker isn't even on there straight, if you can see. Like, you have one job. Come on, sticker person. You could at least put it on there straight, you know? So that's just very disappointing to me. I feel like they could do better, you know? The Mothership packaging and the regular quad packaging is just so beautiful. These, just not so much, not impressed, and I really hope that that's not the way that Pat McGrath is going. Maybe it's a pandemic thing where they don't have the same access to the manufacturers that they usually use or something like that, but I'm just not a big fan of the cardboard packaging. Not for the price. Okay, so moving on from the palettes, we have some singles, and these are the Idols. Just basically single shades, and something that I've been missing in most of her palettes is just that crease shade. And that's why I picked this one up. This one is in the shade Statuesque, and it's just that really nice crease shade for me. I don't use this as much as I thought I would. I am just horrible at single shadows. I reach for palettes so much because they're convenient. Singles, I have to make a bigger effort to use them, so it doesn't usually turn out very well for my singles. Another one of those Idols that I picked up is just a nice shimmer shade, and this one is in the shade Celestial. I picked this up with Statuesque because I thought that they would be a good pair. together. The next single that I have came in a kit actually, and this one is in the shade Ultra Suede Brown Pigment. It's just a really nice brown shimmer shade. And then this one also came in a kit. So there were 3 of them. And they came in like the original packaging that she used to do, just kind of that dome shaped packaging, I would say. Something that she's famous for are her blacks, and this one is just her dark matter pigment. It's like one of the blackest blacks that you can go for, and I think that's just a staple in any makeup collection. You can use it to deepen any other tone or just create dimension in your look. So having a black always anchors a look for me. And another pigment that was in that package was the shade Mercury. This one's really pretty. It's just that beautiful kind of silver gold. And then the last of the pigments that I have from her is her Astral White. And this is in some of the Mothership palettes. But it's just one of those beautiful transformative shades. And I'm telling you, these astral pigments are incredible. And so hopefully you enjoyed getting a small peek into some of my eyeshadows. Again, if I could only pick one, I would pick the Bronze Seduction palette. There's just such nice range in this palette, and I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. It also gives you a good idea of the range in her formula. You get some astrals, you get some mattes, you get some metallics in there. So I think it's a really good one to test out her formula. And then another one that I would recommend is Divine Rose. And if you're into softer shades, I think this is such a beautiful one to try. Again, you get that range of different formulas in there. So those are 2 really good options if you want to dip your foot in there. I would suggest, if you're trying to be budget conscious, to wait till the next Sephora sale, or Pat McGrath does sales on her direct website as well. But thank you so much for watching my Pat McGrath eyeshadow collection. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any video ideas, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for subscribing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.